Okay, so you chose the bear and you're getting mauled. Huzzah! You are officially in the ring. You are experiencing life to the fullest.
I don't want to experience life to the fullest.
Yeah. So the bear being like, well, I'm going to go all in. Oh, and I'm going to go big on this event. I'm going to invest big money. I'm choosing the bear. Let's go. And you're getting mauled. Financially, your budget has blown up. What do you do when the budget blows up? What do you do when a bear does what the bear does? Money can do these things, right? Going big can also include losing big. It happens, right? Costs can come in higher than projected. Uh, the revenue of like, oh, I know I'm gonna make this many sales. It doesn't happen. What do we do? When okay, we're in a bit of a financial crisis. Um, Women leaders have got to wake up and not keep choosing a bear that's mauling them. We're going to talk about what to do in this instance. We want to wake you up so that you can receive more profit, more security, more protection, success, and ease in this episode 16 of the Wake Up Women Leaders podcast. Right, Nettie?
Oh, that's exactly right, Victoria. I would prefer, I'd prefer the path that didn't get me mauled, but the reality is, no matter where you stand in leadership, whether this is your company or you're the leader of another company, um, there's always going to be a moment in the lifetime of your leadership where finances become an issue. And so that's what we want to talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens when you're out in front. You
It
take
does.
the hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a reality. It's a reality. It comes with the spotlight, it comes with leadership, it comes with ownership and
Mm-hmm.
hosting. And we want to bring healing to this situation in this episode. So if you're watching live, do put hashtag live in the comments so that we know that you're with us. And if you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay. By the way, Nettie, who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
I'm the gal who would prefer not to get mauled. That's really the bottom line. Um, I love hiking. I love being out in the wild and enjoying nature. And that's the thing. If you are enjoying life and your business to the fullest, you really might encounter danger along the way, and it's going to happen. So, I am also an executive coach with Sapari Group, the company that I founded more than 2 decades ago to support women in reaching their goals and to do that in a way that works for them to build their system of success. And I do this through one-on-one coaching, through accountability programs, and through speaking and other corporate programs. So if you want to find me, just check out saparigroup.com, or I am happily engaged regularly on LinkedIn. How about you, Victoria?
Yay. Wow, who am I? Sensei Victoria Whitfield. Sensei means teacher in Japanese, which comes from my training, my initial training, my background in education, but then becoming a master teacher of Reiki, which is a Japanese form of holistic therapy for wellness and energy management. I've applied that wellness perspective to serving impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders, helping them getting and staying grounded and clear in mind, body, and business by applying those Reiki principles as well as strategic meditation into their strategic planning practice as a leader. So if you want to find me, you can find me at strategicmeditation.com.
All right. Well, let's dig in today. We've got several points that we want to cover around finances and specifically around when that budget blows up, when things go haywire, the crisis hits. The first thing I think that's important to dig into is that, as we've said throughout the beginning of this episode, it happens to everyone. It happens to everyone. You are not alone, even if you feel like you're experiencing this by yourself, or that it's shameful where you are and what's happening, that you've overextended, you might have maxed out your credit cards, your credit line, your loans, you might have a huge tax bill, or perhaps you mislabeled an employee or a contractor and you've gotten hit by the IRS for that little snafu. Look, everybody goes through something in the financial department in growing their business and being in leadership. So, number one is just to take the shame out of this, because actually it hurts more than it helps when you're addressing these kinds of financial situations. Um, we're not saying not to feel what you feel, because if you bottle that up, obviously it's not going to go well. But when you need to start making decisions and moving forward, it's really critical that you look at the facts of the situation and not infuse into it the, like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? I'm smart. I thought I was prepared. I thought this wouldn't happen to me. Actually, none of those kinds of statements are really helpful in solving the problem.
Yeah. And so in this moment, I just want to give space to haters, giving space to critics and haters, as well as inner critic and self haters, otherwise known as those of us who suffer from imposter syndrome. Of,
Mm,
see, look at that. You screwed up. You can't do that. You're a failure, right? Or all of the wonderfully annoying things that one could say to oneself. And I just got intuition to read a quote from Theodore Roosevelt that
mm,
Brene Brown quotes: "The man in the arena." And it goes
mhm,
this way: "It is not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man, the woman, who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself or herself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he or she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never knew victory nor defeat." Theodore Roosevelt. So be kind to yourself in the event that you are having a budget blowout, that there are issues coming up with the venue, the vendors, the platform, the food, the AV team, right? The assistants for the day, right? Or the your point of contact at the for the company, etc. Be kind to yourself. Things are going to come up, but be proud of yourself that you are in the ring experiencing these challenges. It's there to make you stronger. It's there to show you exactly what you need support around. And this is something that we're going to get into a little bit more as we're speaking here, of how things happen for you. They're not just happening to you. There's no such thing as coincidence. If there's a problem with the ads and the ads manager, this is happening for you. There's a message of innovation and iteration as you are on your way implementing. Receive the message of innovation, receive the mindset of iteration, document the feedback. The blowback is feedback. You are
mm,
not breaking down. You are actually in the process of breaking through, if and only if you're willing to pay attention. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear this as feedback and not failure. This is feedback and not failure. Document it so that you can rise.
100%. The data, the information that something like this can provide to you to set you up for success in the future is just enormous. And it might not feel that way in the midst of everything when you're facing a really large bill or a really large fine, or just maybe it's just everything building up that you might have been ignoring for a long time, and suddenly the money's run out. So I know quite a few people in their businesses who took the idle loan. We've talked about this before. It gave them a tremendous amount of runway, but with that, they had no sense of how much money was actually going in or coming out, and so um, you know, every month that runway got shorter and shorter and shorter, and suddenly, the runway's gone and their monthly expenses outpace the income that's coming in. And now they have a loan payment on that idle loan that they didn't have before. So, it could be a budget blow up that happens very suddenly, or it could be something that's just a constant trickle, and then suddenly it flips to the other side where you just no longer can afford it. So however you got here, that information that's in how you got here is important to learn from. And as you can see, it's likely that it's not bad luck. You're not necessarily bad at money, but there's probably some amount of under planning, under preparing, or not looking at the information that already existed in your business. And again, it's not a judgment call, but we do need to look at the facts of the situation. And if for whatever reason you were avoiding those numbers, or you were too busy, or you didn't have a system to capture them, here is your amazing opportunity to jump in and start looking at that information. Because, as we've said, you can't make good financial decisions from the shame spiral, but you also can't make decisions without information, because that's kind of where you got to this point in the first place, and we don't want to continue it.
Yeah. So when you're in a financial crisis or a budget blow up, the most important thing, like when you are being mauled, try to remove yourself from the mauling. The mauler. The maulie needs to remove themselves from that which is mauling them. And a great way to do that, I highly recommend, is give yourself what I call a strategic spa day. Now, what that could look like is, sure, if you want to go to the spa, here in New Jersey, we have amazing day spas where for a nominal fee, like less than $100, you could be there for the entire day, chilling out and doing work. But it doesn't have to be that. It could just be um, a, a day of not clients, a day of not team meeting, where you have support of someone else, taking care of the family and the house. And if you're posted up at the library or a cafe or on the beach, or taking yourself on a thoughtful picnic, whatever you need to do to take yourself out of your normal situation so that you can look back on what is happening. For me, this really helped when I needed to take a look at why, when I'm using my business credit card, am I always struggling or feeling like that it keeps going up, even though I'm paying like so much money. And come to find out, there were recurring expenses that I didn't need. I sat out. For me, it was on the floor. And I wanted to look at multiple statements, and I started highlighting these recurring expenses of like, why am I still subscribed to this thing? Right? And it's just accruing interest. why I'm not using this. I haven't used it in forever. But being able to sit down and give myself the space away to think and review what's going on in the finances, then I got clear. Oh, this is so easy. I could just cancel this. I can downgrade this. I can negotiate this, etc. But I gave myself what I you can use this term, just credit me, thank you, is it's a strategic spa day. I'm going to take myself to a calming place, whatever that means for you, whatever that means for you. I'm going to take myself to a calming place where I can gather my stuff together and analyze, okay, how are things going from the big picture? And an entire day, not an hour, not a half day, no, an entire day, so that you can stop the bleeding, right? So that you have time to pick up the phone and call the vendor and say, hey, I see the invoice came in. Let's talk about how we can negotiate repayment of this invoice because I don't have it all at once. Can we do a payment plan or blah, blah, blah? Talk to them. Like it, people are people. People are humans. Give yourself permission to have a human moment and not just like, it's all on me. No one wants to help. That actually isn't true. But you gotta decide to give yourself space and support so that you can follow through on stopping the bleeding and going into that analysis mode.
Since we're on this metaphor of medical, medical treatment, right? We're in a point of triage. Like when something like this happens, you need to go to the emergency room. And the first thing that they're going to do in the emergency room is they're going to stop the bleeding, whatever that looks like. It might be a tourniquet, it might be stitching something up, it might be cauterizing something, cutting something off. I have no idea. I'm not an emergency room doctor, but all I know is they're going to immediately address finding where that bleeding is happening and putting something in place to stop it. So, an opportunity here for you is to put a moratorium on all spending, on all money going out for 48 hours until you can find that source. This may feel really uncomfortable because perhaps what you got said, final notice or large fees assessed if after this date. And depending on the size of the organization that's sending you that, you may or may not have leverage to adjust it. But what I do know for sure is if you just keep unconsciously or reactively letting the money go out, then you're never going to resolve the situation. And so you might have to just decide that this is the time things don't get paid on time. Doesn't make you a bad person. A late fee doesn't make you a bad person. A fee for, an unpaid bill doesn't make you a bad person. But if you actually want to solve the problem, then the first thing is to make sure that money stops going out. And I mean, as I've said, there's no person that comes out of this unscathed, which means all of us have our scars from when the situation happened to us. And I've talked about the idle loan in this episode and previously. It was not a good decision for my company to take the idle loan. And many of the people that I've talked to also have experienced this. But at the end of, using up all that money and seeing where there was absolutely no runway left, was when I had to make some really hard decisions about not letting any other money go out until there was money coming in. And it's not to say that there wasn't money coming in, but it wasn't enough to cover all of those things. So another point here is that if we continue this medical metaphor, once you stop the bleeding, it's not over, right? That's just step one. So we're going to need to also look, and as Victoria said, by taking a strategic spa day can be a fantastic way to do this, but we're also going to need to look at, so this would be strategic spa day number 2, since the first one is identifying the bleeding. Number 2 is what's working, what's not working, and what do you need to do differently. So this is an after action review on your finances. And you can do this. Like, even if you have hives when you look at numbers, or even if you love numbers and just somehow these numbers got bigger than you could handle, you can do this process. I give you permission to look at your numbers and be an expert at your numbers in your business. I know there are some folks out there that need that permission slip. So here you go. Permission granted to be an expert at looking at your numbers. One thing I would caution, though, is an effort to not be reactive here, because reactive responses are going to be band-aids on the actual problem. And a reactive response can be accepting an online line of credit. That's, oh, here you go. Here's 10, 20, $50,000 to solve this, except opening a 0% credit card to cover whatever this is. It's not 0% forever, let me tell you. um, even asking for help from friends and family at this moment could severely damage your relationships if you don't have an understanding of what got you into this place in the first place, such that you're not going to continue the bleeding. These are all band-aids on the problem, because the reality is you can solve this with hard work and difficult decisions being made. But if you get to the other side of it, and I'm saying if because it's not a guarantee, but if you get to the other side of it, you and your company will be substantially stronger and more resilient to face the next challenges that come down the pike if you've been willing to do the hard work. So we have stopping the bleeding, doing the after action review, making sure that we don't respond reactively. Debt in these moments is your enemy. It's like asking the bear to come back and maul you again. Please don't do it. It's just really not a good situation.
Yeah. I mean, and to your point, identifying the bear in the first place is huge.
Good
Like,
point. Good point.
do I even know, like, what is mauling me? Or gosh, where'd my leg go? Oh my goodness. I'm having a very exciting day. I wonder what's happening. Maybe it was like what I ate earlier, let alone you're being mauled by a big juicy bear. But be kind to yourself. It's hard to focus. It is actually biochemically hard to focus when you are in a frantic, anxious, they call it a sympathetic in the central nervous system. When you're in a sympathetic, highly activated state, the blood rushes away from the brain and to the extremities so that you can focus on performance. You're trying to run away from the bear in this instance. You don't have all of that wonderful blood flush in your brain and more of the frontal lobe where you can think critically and creatively about what's going on. That's just your body as anxious. The body anxious is not intelligent.
It is not.
It is not. It is reactive. It is physical. It is split decisions. It's primal. So what matters most is how you feel. So when I say take a strategic spa day, I'm not kidding. Whatever you need to do to bring you back into a state of nourishment, right? Feed yourself, calm, get a massage, right? Or go lay out on the grass or on the beach, or give yourself some downtime, listen to a meditation, calm yourself down, not just because it's nice or a woo-woo thing to do, but actually what you're trying to do is get the blood from your extremities to get back into your brain so you're calm and grounded and centered enough, right? Your frontal lobe, so that you are regulated, your central nervous system is regulated enough for you to do the after action review. It's kind of like how our mentor, where we met, Fabienne, she would always tell the story of being like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, the movie. If you don't change your approach, if you don't go back and analyze what just happened, you're going to have the same day over and over and over again. But if you
Mhm.
do, if you work into your planning process that as you are going through your events, right, or through your daily operations, that you always have a debrief, or Fabian would call it a groundhog day, right? You want to work into your process of like, here's what worked, here's what's not working. Knowing what worked and what's not working, here's what I would do differently next time. And even if you need 3 columns, worked, didn't work, knowing what I know now, doing different, and have that for yourself on a regular basis, you will never have a budget blow up again, because you're getting the lesson rather than just being stuck spinning your wheels, repeating the same trauma of being mauled by the bear over and over and over and over again, financially speaking. It doesn't have to be. But again, you've got to shift your approach to, okay, let me light a candle, grab a nice cup of tea at the end of the workday or at the end of the event, and I'm going to have my spa moment of like, while I got my face mask on, writing, okay, here's what worked. Do 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 do. Timer 15 minutes, ding. Okay, here's what didn't work today. Ooh, that was awful. Oh my god, that was crazy. Oh no no no, never again, blah 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 blah. Ding, 15-minute timer goes off. And then 15-minute timer, knowing these two things, what would I do differently? Do 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 do, sipping on the tea. Okay, taking the face mask off, and now you have a completely different approach. Uh, like, failure to plan is planning to fail, and we want you to thrive. We don't want you to fail.
I'm going to change that.
Please.
So, failure to reflect is planning, is going to cause you to fail because you will have that groundhog day. You can plan, that people plan more wonderfully well. People make plans that are like
You're
so
right.
institutional, but the problem is we don't take time to reflect and to learn from the actions that we've taken. I need to rewrite that quote. It's a good one. It's catchy and it rhymes, but it's not accurate. And so we really want to make sure that you are taking that time to reflect. So I do believe that it's possible to build a system where budget blowups don't happen at all. You do need to have one, like, or you are not going to create a system that's resilient for you. Your system is going to be born out of like the lessons that you learned in that blow up. Once it happens though, then creating the system means that you start with, and this is going to sound really strange, but I learned it from Gina Knox. She's amazing. You can go check her out. Small Business, Big Money. And she says to start by building up your buffer. And I was resistant to this because when you are having, a mountain of debt and all the things that are coming at you and the bills and the fees and all that kind of stuff, it can feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, I don't want to have another month where, the interest rate is this high or I'm paying all these extra things. But to start with a buffer means that instead of starting with paying down that big debt, means that you don't ever get to a point where you can't pay an unexpected bill or a little bit higher bill. You're always months ahead financially. And for businesses, and this is her primary target, for businesses that have fluctuations in income, which is just about everybody, we need 2 to 3 months of buffer at all times so that we're not getting caught like, oh my gosh, this month was great and I was able to pay everything and I paid down this debt, and the next month you don't bring in as much money and suddenly you're back on your line of credit, you're back on the credit cards, and those numbers just ratchet back up again. So I was surprised, but it works to start with building your buffer while paying the minimums, like we're not letting those go. Uh, when we stopped the bleeding, we got back to a neutral zone. So maybe there's not more coming in, but at least at least you have kind of a neutral amount going out, that you're not bleeding more. So then the next thing you need to do is, how can you reduce expenses and increase income? Like, we need to widen that gap between what's going out and what's coming in, such that you can start to remedy, wherever you've overextended yourself. Um, all of this takes daily, not weekly, not monthly, but daily observation of your numbers, until you have a strong handle on all of it and you're comfortable looking. Because honestly, what probably got you here is just like putting the observation of your financials on the back burner while you were doing the work you love to do. I get it. We all like have that drive to do the things that we love, but you have to look at your numbers. So daily looking at what's going in, what's going out, and some observation about some ideas on how to make it even better every single day. I love a tool called YNAB. You need a budget, for this exact purpose. I'm going to drop a couple of tools here. Um, YNAB helps me see my numbers every single day. And QuickBooks does this too, but I just personally love it, and they really are designed for this kind of getting yourself like straight. And interestingly, it was designed for personal use, but it works really, really well, especially for small businesses. The other tool that I love to share with people is a tool called undebt.it. And this can help you if part of your financial struggle right now is that your debt has gotten to be too big. It can help you input those numbers and figure out how to pay it off in the most financially feasible way with the amount of money you have. In the beginning, the amount of money you have might be just the minimums, or maybe you don't even have the minimums. And so you're going to be able to see that in black and white numbers. And then if you start to get more, maybe you earn $100 more this month, it's going to tell you where to put that money for the best possible impact. So just a couple of tools that you can try out. Definitely check out Gina Knox, Small Business, Big Money. Fantastic podcast. And she just talks about these kinds of things all day long. So she's got good information for you.
Yeah. And for those of us who may be a bit more on the creative, higher on the quick start, if you know what I'm saying, and you hear talking about finances, looking at numbers and apps and tools, and you don't get excited. There are those of us like Nettie who are like getting hot under the collar, thinking about automations.
That's right.
Right.
That's
But
right.
for those of us, ooh, not my stroke, not my folk. Um, that what I would recommend is make it cute. Find a
Mhm.
way to make it cute. Don't put it off. Stop being a princess, right? It's time for you to be a queen. And so if you really are serious about ascending financially, right?
Mhm.
Growing more into wealth, one of the ways that you can make it cute is do like financial Fridays, right? Fancy financial Fridays where you wear your favorite jewels, you wear your favorite outfit, and this represents you. I am embodying money. Like, this is going to be
Mm.
hot. This is going to be sexy, right? This is going to be fun and sexy financial Fridays. So that every Friday you are giving yourself a full body reminder and ritual to be present to the money, right? And enjoy it. Right? Family members of mine think I'm nuts, but I have a mantra. I'm like, I love the IRS. Oh my God. I love it. I love the IRS. It's like, you're out of your mind. I'm like, no, they've been good to me. Ever since I've been affirming, I love the IRS. They take such good care of me. They protect everything. Every time I need like a financial plan, they give it to me. It's amazing. I love the IRS. But it takes the time of having those repeated rituals that turn you on so that you can recalibrate in your journey with your finances. Your feelings really do matter, right? And the more that you are aware of telling a new story, about your finances to yourself, your behavior will shift. When you are clear on, I'm going to tell a story of empowerment, going to tell myself a story of fun and sexiness and interest and curiosity and empowerment and joy and love in relationship to my vendors, my
Mhm.
finances, my cards, my bills, my accounts, my expenses, etc. When you change your words, you will change your life. But get into the habit of it, and I highly recommend Friday Energy for
Mm.
finances.
So good. Yeah, I love that. I wrote it down. Repeated rituals that turn you on to really enjoy the process. The reason that you're in this particular challenge is because you've been willing to receive money and you've been willing to spend money. I mean, that if that's not wealthy and abundant, I don't know what is, right? So part of this and stepping into that royal queen energy is being willing to walk into the treasury building and ask questions and hold the gold in your hand and think about, how it's serving you and your people in your queendom.
Mm-hmm.
With that, next time we hop on here, we are going to be talking about something. Um,
You bet. Oh, things will happen and things will
I,
be
I got it.
amazing.
I got it.
Whatever it is.
This is hilarious. I couldn't make this one come off my tongue, but it's still hilarious. We're going to be talking about your origin story and why that is the most important story that you will ever share in your business, in your leadership journey. So we'll be talking about that next time. In the meantime, if this particular episode spoke to you, I encourage you to drop the word connect either in the comments below or send a DM to myself or Victoria, and we will reach out to you. We're happy to meet you where you are, whether it's this particular challenge or another leadership challenge, and just help you talk it through, figure out a path forward. That is what we're here for. That is what brings us the most joy in the entire universe, is being able to serve and support you. So please reach out. Let us know. Let us know if this is your challenge or if you found some great strategy to overcome it.
Yeah. And if you made it to the end of this podcast episode, woo woo, thank you for watching. Obviously, you're getting some value for this. Make sure you hit that like button, let the algorithm know that this was good so that more people see that this is valuable content. And while you're at it, hit the share as well, to share it on your favorite social media platform so that more women leaders wake up. With that, we'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye, everyone.